What's up everybody, it's Matt from Peter Glenn, and in this video we're going to show you just a few of our favorite boots for the 23-24 season. Let's check these out. All right, so first up, we've got the Burton Photon. This boot is a staple in their lineup, and I always tell people, if you don't know what boots to get from the Burton lineup, just get the Photons, and you're gonna be stoked no matter what. So it does come in two different versions. There is a dual BOA, and there also is a Speed Zone version, really just depending on if you wanna twist your boots tight or pull them tight. They both have the lower and upper zonal lacing system, so you can lace those independently. One thing to note on the BOA version is this ankle heel piece back here. When you crank the top part on the tongue here, it tightens this piece around the back of your heel to help grab and hold your foot down in the boot a little bit better. It's got their heat moldable imprint 3 liner, so super cushy, very supportive, and gives you a nice snug fit all day long. And on the side here, they actually have these panels on the inside and outside of the boot, which are pretty nice. They're a little bit sturdier than the rest of the boot, and they're basically to help relieve any pressure depending on if your bindings aren't adjusted properly or if they just happen to push on those two spots on your boot. And then working our way to the bottom, we have that Vibram outsole with those traction lugs. They're pretty cool. On the inside of some of these, they have a little bit of extra grip just to give you a little bit more for when you're hiking on some of those harder, icier conditions. All right, and then next up, we have the Ride Lasso Pro. So this is basically a souped up version of one of their best-selling boots, the Lasso. Obviously, we have a dual BOA with one on the side, one on the tongue. And one thing that's good to note is these panels at the bottom, when you do crank this thing down, it helps stretch these and wrap them around your forefoot a little bit better. And then compared to most other dual BOA boots, this BOA on the tongue does the entire front of the boot, and then the BOA on the side here actually goes inside the boot. And it's part of their tongue-tied system, which wraps around your ankle on top of the liner and really helps suck your heel back into the boot. And then down to the side of the boot, we have that articulated cuff, which helps to flex around the bottom of the boot so you get a little less shell distortion and a better fit all day long. And working our way to the bottom, we have that Plus Slime midsole in between your foot and the outsole of the boot that's gonna be super cushy for all your landings and just feels nice to stand on all day long. And then on the bottom, we're obviously doing that Michelin outsole that's super grippy and very durable. And then moving on to one of the best-selling boots in the history of snowboarding, we have the Thirtytwo Lashed. Now, obviously, other than this Zeb colorway, which is amazing, this boot has got one of the best fits and one of the best lacing systems out there. So this boot does come in a dual BOA system with the top and bottom, but the cool thing about the standard lace version is that you have 3 main lacing zones and you can customize those on this boot. You always want your ankle held down nice and tight, but depending on how you want the fit to be on the lower part or the upper part, you can kind of loosen those up and always leave that ankle nice and snug. And these panels that they have at the bottom of the boot, the laces are actually going through just the panel. The panels are attached down a little bit lower. Why this is important is that when you're pulling the bottom part snug, these can stretch a little bit and lash your foot into the boot. Hence the name of the boot, the Lashed. And then along with that, we have the ever famous 32 articulated cuff, which they do on the majority of their boots. So when you are flexing forward, you don't get any shell distortion or gapping at the bottom of the boot. Just get a better fit overall. And on the inside, we are doing their team liner, which is super cushy, super comfortable. And then it has those little pockets with the little foam donuts, so you can customize and get an even better fit around your ankle. And then moving our way to the bottom of the boot, we have that Evolution outsole and midsole with those rubber pods for the extra grip where you need it. But the 32 Lashed is truly one of the best-selling park to powder, ride anything, go anywhere boots on the market. All right, and then last up, we have the Vans Invado Pro. This Daryl Mathis colorway is amazing. And the Invado Pro is basically the souped-up version of their Invado boot. So as you can see, this is a hybrid boot. We have a standard lace and we have a BOA. And what's rad about this is that you get all the adjustment and all of the customization fit of the standard laces, and then you get just that little extra with the BOA, which goes right across your ankle to help lock your ankle in even better. So you can fully customize how this boot fits, how this boot feels, how it's gonna ride, but you can always make sure you've got that little extra locking your heel down and pushing it back into the boot. And then they are doing an articulated cuff on this thing, so we are getting the proper flex, and the fit is gonna feel exactly the same no matter which way you're leaning. And then up towards the top, we have their pleasure cuff, which is basically a softer cuff, so when you are leaning back on the boot, you're not getting something that's gonna dig into your calves in case you happen to have a little bit bigger muscles down there. And then in between your feet and the sole of the boot, we've got the pop cush insole and that ultra cush midsole. So very, very comfortable to stand on. And then also on your landings, it definitely absorbs tons and tons of impact. And then moving to the bottom, we have their V2 Waffle Pro outsole. This thing has got crazy amounts of grip. And another thing that makes this rubber compound on the bottom very, very unique is that when it gets colder, it doesn't actually lose its grip. But this is definitely one of the most customizable, most comfortable boots on the market. All right, well, thanks for checking out just a few of our favorite boots for the 23-24 season. Obviously, we couldn't show them all to you or else this video would be 30 minutes long. But if you got any questions about these boots or any of the amazing boots that we have at peterglenn.com, definitely leave some comments down below. We're on there every single day trying to answer your questions. We want to make sure we can get you into some rad gear, but most importantly, we want to make sure that it's going to fit you and it's going to fit your riding style properly too. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, and definitely get that notification bell on too so you can find it when all the new videos drop. And head on over to peterglenn.com, grab yourself a new pair of boots and get out and ride, because any day of riding is a good day of riding.